Hello, me lovelies. Oh, just been reading out a quick look at the chat. I've got my fan here. Don't know whether you can hear it. I've got a tower fan. I thought I'll put it on. It's not all that hot. It's just, makes it more comfortable, doesn't it? Hello, Cindy. Hello, Julie's. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Big Billy. Hello, Jim. Hello, Kelsey. So, it's all been it's all been Decker again, hasn't it? Decker, the drama before we get on to the quiz. It's all Decker again, isn't it? You see, like hell, he's in prison. He's not in prison, and honestly, he just loves making fools out of his fellows. He does. I said this, didn't I? A while back, I said he's getting off on being able to really push it with his supporters, make obvious his line, and still have them bigging him up and keep well, Decker, and all this business. Are your sister Mary or Mary? So you can tell he's getting off on it. Eventually, it will implode on him. It's about going to, but he'll have fun with it until it goes that way. But yeah, people are so convinced he's in prison. There's no way he's in prison. I don't get that. What is that Bruce Lee thing about? I keep on hearing people saying it, but I've missed whatever the reference is. I've heard him saying it's Bruce Lee. What does it mean? Oh, Aki, I saw you the other day in another person's chat. Thank you for not joining in with all the hate against me, because I was getting some hate on it, and I noticed you asked what's Sam been up to, and you just didn't get involved then, did you? You backed off. So thank you for that. I can't talk about it at the moment. Yeah, that call from prison straight away. I twigged that, and he must know people will twig it. You can tell he's recording the phone call. It's not that Josh fella, is it? The one that's, I don't know whether it's his boyfriend or what it is, but there's something odd going on there. I know that. But you could tell it was recorded from Decker's side. So you're thinking, wait a minute. Didn't the same thing happen over that weird fella? That one that goes on the dark web all the time. He released a recording, and you could tell it was Decker that had recorded it. He's at Josh's place. There's something going on there, isn't it? I'm telling you. Yeah, no one thought he was banned up. I think only his diehards. Only his diehards will believe him. Other stuff. Some nastiness going on. People's kids being mentioned. I think that's nasty, isn't it? I'm not talking about Decker here. But people's kids being mocked and dragged into it, knowing that's going to cause offence. We all know, don't we? No matter how annoyed you are at someone, you don't go for the kids, do you? No matter how annoyed you are, they're off bounds. So hopefully that won't explode into something nasty. Oh, this is nice with the thing on. With the You're the Camden quiz champion 1963. I was talking to the real PP before. He doesn't understand when I put a comment, he never understands what I mean. I just totally confuse him. Right. So I will, if someone wants to come in for a chat at some point, just to cover the thing, why Humble took down the interview with that Harry fella the other day. It's just, I don't know whether anyone watched it. You could tell I was very quiet for most of it. I didn't feel comfortable with it. I didn't know what to expect. John didn't know what to expect. And it was like uncomfortable. So that's why he's taking it down. You know, it just didn't seem that was the right thing to do. Now, let's see. Shall I get on with the quiz? Yeah, no one knew though, Gillies. No one knew what was going to happen there. No one knew. So it was like, to tell the truth, I didn't know what was going on. I was there thinking, I couldn't see where it was going. I thought there must be a point to this. And I couldn't see where the point was or where it was going. And that's why I said, I can't see where this is ending up. And it just seemed a total. But it didn't reveal anything, did it, really? Do I know John? Yeah, I know John. I get on with John really well. I like John and Amanda. We didn't always get on, but then we sort of had this. Well, he had an absolutely massive row with me one day, and then I realised what was going on, what was causing all the trouble, and so we sort of got through it, talked through it. Right now, I'll get on with the quiz, and I put this question up before on my community page because the Titanic's in the news again, isn't it? Which book in 1898 seemingly spookily predicted the Titanic in 14 years later? Which book in 1898 seemingly predicted the Titanic, which wasn't to happen for another 14 years? And I've actually got it, and I've never read it. Are you, Johnny? Not Nostradamus. Oh, he was a fraud, so Nostradamus. He never predicted anything. So, does anyone know, or do you want me to give you the answer? Because it's one of those things that I don't know what you'll never get. Not the Bible. Da Vinci. No. Anyway, I'll give you the answer because this is a difficult one. It's the wreck of the Titan, futility. And it was fascinating when I first heard about that. What it was, he wrote it in, I say, 1898. And it's about this huge ship. And this kind of ship then didn't exist when he wrote it. A 4-screw. You know the funnels that you see on the ship? Well, they're called screws. And nothing like that existed then. And I'm working from memory here, so I might not get it exactly right when I'm saying what he got right. But he did that, and it was called a floating palace. Just wait until you hear the similarities that came. A floating palace, it was called. God couldn't sink it. That's where it originally came from. Even God could not sink the ship. Apparently, there's debate whether that was actually said about the Titanic. Its maiden voyage was crossing, guess where? To New York. And it went and hit an iceberg. Difference was in this, I think it was a gypsy fell overboard and she cursed the ship to sink. And so on its maiden voyage, it hit an iceberg. Now, if I remember rightly, because this was really spooky, there were over 2,000 people on the ship, which was the same as the Titanic. And the vast majority of them died. Only 800 or 700 in the book survived because there weren't enough lifeboats. This is just so freaky when you start reading through it. And the ship took over 2 hours to sink, if I remember rightly, in the book as well. Anyway, after that happened in the Titanic, well, not everything. I mean, there were differences, of course, in the book, but it got so much for spot on. It's like, my God, that is. And here's the curious bit, right? Of course, just said the wreck of the Titan. The ship was called the Titanic. And it was just weird. The only difference was well that it had big sails in the book, but it had the funnels as well. But poor cruise ships steamships didn't exist then. And it's like, how the hell? He was asked about it. He said he thought he was just writing a book. He didn't know that it would come true at some point. But exactly where the Titanic sank, he had this ship sink. And not enough lifeboats. Weird. Right. This is for all you scientific minds out there, what is a positive electrode called? What is a positive electrode called? Positive electrode. And don't say nice, because it's a positive electrode. Don't say it's called a nice electrode. See that funny? Did you get that? See how you entertained it? I've just come out with a funny positive electrode. Don't call it nice. You see, humour. You've got it all here. Quiz, humour, good looks to look at in my picture. You've got it all for free. An ode, yeah, that's right, Cindy. An ode. Oh, no one's going to get this right. No one's going to get this right. What is Elton John's real name? What is Elton John's real name? You'll know this, Jockney. Come on. You'll be able to get this straight away. What is Elton John's real name? Jim, stop your dirty, smutty, copping off talk, right? Leave Julie's alone. Nearly, Kelsey, nearly. No, Cindy, nearly. You're getting it nearly, but the second name's coming out wrong. It's not right. That's it, Selkie. Dwight, Reg Dwight. Who are for you religious people out there? Which PP will be, because PP's all man of God and all this, isn't he? Who is the patron saint of music? Who is the patron saint of music? Now, I'm the patron saint of beauty, Johnny. I'm the patron saint for beautiful people. Here we are. No, you keep on getting them. I know you've got it right. You've just got it. Isn't that a vegetable, celiac? Isn't that vegetable that's... Oh, it's horrible. They make mash out of it. No, celiac. I know what you mean. You mean Saint Celia, don't you? So I'll give it to you, Saint Celia. And here we are. I'll throw one of you this off the top of my head. Who in Greek mythology was the goddess of dance? Who in Greek mythology was... Well, actually, I don't think the right term is goddess, is it? It's muse. No, muse, because she was a muse of Apollo, wasn't she? Apollo was the god. Who was the muse of dancing in Greek mythology? Not Medusa. Not Madonna. That's it, that tapey thingy, Cindy, so I'll give it to you. Terpsichore, or what some people wrongly call terpsichore. It's not terpsichore, it's terpsichore. The goddess dance, that's why they call dancers terpsichoreans. You learned that term, terpsichoreans. Here we are. Which is the only bird that can fly backwards? which is the only bird that can fly backwards. Reminds me of that film. No, was it The Deep Blue or something like that, where the sharks could swim backwards? That's it. Selkie, hummingbird. Hummingbirds can go backwards. Now, where am I up to? Getting lost. Oh, no, I'm all right. Oh, wait on. Music ones. Here we are. Johnny, you've got to get this. You've got to get these next two. Kiss Me Kate is the musical Kiss Me Kate, which is a load of cack, is based on which Shakespeare play? Kiss Me Kate is based on which Shakespeare play? Not one of my favourite musicals, I must say. No, Hamlet. Didn't know Hamlet was a musical. That's it. Oh, no, wait a minute, Cindy. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm getting mixed up. Yeah, Taming of the Shrew. I was going to say, I thought then I'd asked what was the Taming of the Shrew, what was the musical named after it? Sorry. So it's definitely, yeah, you're right. Taming of the Shrew, but the play is good. The musical's good. Now, here's one of my favourites. What was the sci-fi film The Forbidden Planet based on? It was based on a Shakespeare play, The Forbidden Planet, and it's my favourite Shakespeare play. I love it. It's my top favourite one, which I can quote reams from off the top of my head. But they did a sci-fi film, which was actually quite good. Oh, yeah, you've all got it. The Tempest. I looked away for a second. The Tempest. Brilliant. Now, have you ever seen that, The Forbidden Planet, anyone? Has anyone seen the Forbidden Planet? Do you know what bit absolutely got me was when they're walking through, because of course all the aliens are gone. They're not alive anymore. They destroyed themselves, didn't they, in like some kind of atomic blast or something like that. But it's when you see the doors, because of course you never see, the only alien you see is like Caliban there, and it's like a big monstrous thing. But when they're looking around the buildings, you see the doors, and it's the shape of the doors make you think, my God, what did they look like? The doors are really weird. And that, I remember that stuck in my mind. I thought, that just tells you what the hell did they look like by the shape of the doors, or were built like. Yeah, it's very good, actually. It's good. Now, next one. Did you award it tonight? Oh no, I'm going backwards on the subject. Here we are. For all you Buddhists out there, all you Buddhists. Now, what was the real name of the Buddha? Don't forget, the Buddha isn't actually a name, it's a title. It's like saying king or emperor, whatever. It's, even though it's not since that, it's like that. It's a title. It's not actually his name. It wasn't, Buddha wasn't his name. What was his real name? What was the Buddha's name? Because anyone can become a Buddha. That's it. Gautama. I'll give you a selkie. Siddhartha Gautama, or Gautama. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to pronounce it. And here we are. Now, he became enlightened. People don't know he was a prince. Very, very extremely privileged, a prince. And he was shielded from seeing anything in the world. All that he knew was luxury and anything he wanted, and everything was binary. But he went out one day and seeing three things. excuse me, actually 4, sorry, I've got that wrong, 3. He saw 4 people that made him realise that the reality of life was being hidden from him. So what did he see? If anyone knows, you'll be good if you get these. What were the 4 things he saw? They were, I'll give you a clue, they were people. They were all people. 4 people he saw. And it made him realise that the truth was being hidden from him. Does anyone know? Oh, just name as many as you know. Oh, I love Buddhas. I've got a big wooden one in the living room in the where the fire should be, that hearth. I thought that's appropriate. It just fits in the heart of the in the living room, and it's a big one. Yet there was a corpse. There was a monk or a holy man. So you got 2, corpse and a holy man. Death, yeah, he saw the corpse. I'll tell you what they were. It was an old man, a sick man, a corpse, and a holy man. And each one revealed to him a truth. The old man, can you guess what the old man made him realise was supposed to represent? What was the old man? What did that reveal to about life? Actually, the old man and the corpse one are more or less the same. I could never understand those 2. Now, the old man was mortality. I'll go through it. The old man was mortality. The corpse was death. Now, to me, mortality and death are both the same thing, aren't they? More or less, because if you're mortal, you're going to die. The sick man was suffering, and the holy man was that the other 3 could be overcome with spiritual liberation. In other words, you could more or less not escape them, but you could rise above them. And then he went on his journey, which took a hell of a long time, because he was in his 80s when he died, the Buddha. Food poisoning, they reckon it was. So he was given pork that was off, and they reckon he knew it was off, and ate it because he wouldn't let anyone else eat from the same bowl. And so he had quite a painful death, but in his 80s. And they found his ashes, didn't they? Which is amazing. But they were mixed up with something else, so they don't know. They said part of them's in there, but they don't know where the rest is. I know what gets me, all these big statues of the Buddha and the way they worship him. Saying this a while ago, that is totally against what he was preaching or talking about. He didn't believe in any. You couldn't cling onto it, and so you couldn't cling onto a god, because he was famously was asked by 2 people, and one of his monks was totally confused by a man who believed in the gods. Asked him if the gods existed, and Buddha said, no, they don't exist. There's no such thing as a god. The next day, another man came who was an atheist and asked if gods exist, and the Buddha turned around and said, yes, of course they do. Gods exist. And of course, that's totally opposing what he said the day before. So he was asked by the monk, he said, look, why have you told him that there are gods? Yet yesterday you told the other man that there are no gods. And he said, so we'll keep on questioning. And this is the thing he kept on banging on about. And he used to annoy his followers actually doing this. He wouldn't talk about the hereafter, what comes next. He wouldn't talk about it. And so The whole point was, he said, no, think about what you're doing here now, not what you're going to do over there. He said it's important to keep you, and that's why they say ground, and you've got to stay grounded. So when you see people all their heads in the air, this is what Buddhists do. They're actually, when they're meditating, they're not trying to go into another dimension or escape reality. They're actually keeping themselves well honed and grounded. Because if you don't know what you're doing in this life, you're here for a reason, or you're supposed to be living for a reason. Oh, I say that, but again, the Buddha didn't clarify that. He didn't say there was ever a reason for life. More or less, you just get through. In other words, you get through with it. It's not a good thing. You don't celebrate being alive because it's not a good situation to be in. And then you hope that you'll get enlightened and will escape it. And apparently it takes 7 lifetimes. From when you first enlightened, it takes 7 more lifetimes before you escape it. I don't know how they work that one. It's strange. But we don't know. This is it. None of us know until we get over there, do we? None of us know. Well, what is the Buddha actually? So he didn't want female monks. He thought it would distract. Don't forget, they're supposed to be celibate. Nothing's supposed to distract them. And he didn't want female monks, but he eventually relented and allowed female monks in. But you'll find, when this sounds really sexist to us, it is. You know, when women say, oh, I've been enlightened and all this. Well, according to the tradition, if you're enlightened or you're going to be enlightened, you'll be born as a man 7 times. Isn't that so sexist sound? Only a man can achieve true enlightenment for some reason. So if a woman was enlightened, she'd be reborn as a man. So what do you think of that, ladies? You can never be enlightened unless you're born as a man. That's a seagull. I can work it out. So that is the little quiz. Oh, do you know what, my neck's starting to crack it is. Starting to get a creaky, cracky neck. So that's everyone been doing. What would I be in the neck? I wouldn't want to come back as an animal. I don't want to come back again. That's what I keep on saying. I mean, I believe in reincarnation. I'm not saying 100% I know it's sure, but since a child, I've always believed in it. And not because I want to believe in it. And this is the difference between the West and the East. In the East, you won't hear them talking on excitedly about, in India, all that about reincarnation. They don't get all excited about it. It's actually a negative thing to be here, because you're not achieving enlightenment. The whole point is you're supposed to escape the circle of life and not come back again. So the fact that you are born in a mortal body means that you're not getting it right, whatever getting it right means. So I have the Eastern view. It's a negative thing. So to me, it's like, oh God, if there is reincarnation, which I do believe there is, it's a sense I have. I'm thinking to myself, oh, I don't want him. I'm thinking of putting in a petition when I get over to the other side, saying, no chance, I'm not coming back. I refuse. I am going to close the doors and the pearly gates, and they're not getting me out again. I'm going to chain myself to the pearly gates because I ain't coming back. But I don't think you have a choice, mate. You just push back down again, aren't you? And if the Buddha was right, that's even worse. Because at least because they reckon he was a Hindu to begin with, but he left the Hindu religion because Hinduism is all, these gods with arms and whatever not, and multiple gods, and also it's very, which he didn't like. We'd call it very bigoted today. That's where you get the caste system from, and untouchables, where you can't get out of your class system that you're born into. And if you're born as an untouchable, that's it. You're stuck there and you're expected to do the dirty jobs, which he thought was totally unfair. He said everyone's equal, anyone can rise to being a Buddha. But they believe in a state where when you pass over, there's like a lull where you're in like a paradise. In your astral body, you're still you. But the Buddha had a completely different version, though he wouldn't stress it. You'll hear this famous one at a candle. Life, when you die, it's like it's not so much that a candle goes out, the flame jumps from one candle to another candle to another candle. So it's basically you die, then you're born, you die, then you're born, you die. Now that sounds like a purgatory to me, that you don't even have a blank where you can rest and think, hey, well, a dark room you can go into and say, hey, well, let me stay here for a few years so I can, just get over that, then I'll come back. But that's so anyway, that's the question. What would everyone like to come back as? If you could come back as an animal, wouldn't want to come back as an animal, not myself. Hugh Hefner. Oh, you're all having a little bleeding talk on your own, aren't you there? A tiger. Talking like Hugh Hefner here. Rangers. Oh, God, exposure. He did a video about Billy Moore, didn't he, and Joe Kidd? I think that one's best left alone, it is. I thought that Billy hadn't spoken to Joe in private, but Billy told me he had. Said he had spoken to him in private before he took the video. I think just Joe got it wrong. Here we go. Put the link out if anyone wants to come on and have a nice talk for the last half hour. Because I run out of things to say. Oh. So I'm tired and I've got all sorts to do after this. What is shut? I'd like to suddenly come back right at the moment. I said I do the first time round. What does that mean? Can't work that out, Cindy. I'd like to suddenly come back right at the moment. I said I do first time round. Do you mean marriage? Annie, what's that issue you said you have to do with something in your neck? Oh, my neck for years plays up. It can be horrendous. I could be in bed for 3 days in pain with my neck, thrown up and everything, and it's all to do with my neck and shoulders. Just have to get on with it when it kicks off. I've got very for years. I mean, years and years and years, my neck is played up. That's why my bloody arm is playing up now, because the nerve, something's wrong with me neck. Always has been. But I'm not one of those people that run to the doctors. I don't like going to the doctor. So only when I'm dying do I go to the doctors. Can't stand them, can't stand hospitals, can't stand doctors, can't stand any. I don't trust any of them anyway. I always think, oh, I know better, I'll get on with it. Blake Knowles having a heart attack, wasn't I? And went mad because my neighbour called the ambulance. Oh, I said, no, I'll get over it. She said, no, she I'm getting an ambulance now. And they said, you're in the middle of a heart attack. I thought when you had a heart attack, it's just when you hit the deck now. And what do you think about palmistry? I had my palm read in Blackpool last week. And I was skeptical, but it was weirdly accurate about some things. It depends. I don't believe you can. I think a lot of the time it's cold reading. That's what it is. It's cold reading. I mean, there might be the odd person that has got a gift, but I've said this before. If it was worthwhile having ESP or be able to predict the future or anything like that, we'd all, the way human evolution is, everyone would develop it. If it was any use, we'd all develop it because that's what evolution does. And if we don't all get this special gift, it means that's not worth jack. According to nature, it's not worth having. So, but I've seen this. If anyone's looked into it, I mean, years ago, I started looking into, spiritualism and all that. Not that I was wanting to be in it, because I was brought up not to try and communicate with what you don't understand or can't see. Just leave it be. So I'm always of that mindset. Don't play with things that you don't understand. But I came away thinking there's damn right frauds, and there's people who aren't frauds, but they genuinely think they've got a gift. But it's only a couple of times, I must say, someone made me think, oh, there's something here, or there's something going on here that I think was more mind reading somehow than predicting the future. But it's amazing how, it's amazing how many people see this happening again. They'll say, oh, how did they know that? And you say, because you told them. I didn't say a word. And you said, so you didn't say a word? No, I didn't say a word. So you sat there with your mouth shut and didn't say one word that they picked up on. And what it was, what they'll tend to do, and I say it's not always that the person's a fraud. Some are well-meaning, they genuinely believe that they have got a gift. But it's easy to pick up. I've said this before. People say to me, how did I realise that a certain person was a bad person or they were lying? It's instinct, I know. I'm sensitive to it. It's not that I'm psychic or can read them. I just know. It's like I think the whole persona. I don't know how to do it, but persona. But I'm not using a special spiritual gift. I'm just sensitive to it for some reason. Some people I can pick up straight away and work out that the best well avoided. But no, I came away from the spiritual thing and I thought, no, there's damn right frauds and there's ones who think they are, but you can tell. It's like what I can't work out. This is the first thing that hit me. Was when they go on, right? They'll start going, oh, I can get a P, I can get a C. Oh, do you know a John? Do you know a Dave? Do you know a Joan or an Anne or a Sue or whatever? And they'll go through this, then you'll hit on one. And they'll say, now speak up, let the spirits hear you. You've got to speak up, let the spirits hear you. And then suddenly the spirits are speaking fine. They have no trouble hearing the spirits. Like, I'll get lost. How couldn't you hear them? They couldn't tell you the name straight off. And then suddenly you're reaming off all sorts about these people. But there's tricks they play, like another one they'll do. It's just, if you don't, something doesn't ring true. Oh, it will come to you later. In other words, it's your fault. And I used to always pick up on people doing this. And I'll say this to people, one of my little things. Yeah, cold reading, Johnny. It's cold reading. There's one that I say this blaming the person when they say, and I always pull them up, and there's these new age people to go on about, let's say, pick something like cosmic order. That total utter nonsense where you put a wish out to the cosmos and it will be granted to you. Anyway, if it doesn't get granted to you, you're told, well, it's not meant for you, so it's your fault. And as I say, oh, get lost. That's an easy way of getting out of the fact that it doesn't bleed and work. It's just mere chance whether it happens or not. I said, so it's because if you put something in your head, you'll most probably see that thing because you've got it in your head. At some point it will come to you. but it's got nothing to do with a great mind beyond. Suppose there might be something, but they make too much of it. Maybe I just can't. Well, Kelsey, this it might do. It might do, but also don't forget humans. We don't realise we're more alike than we think we are. So a lot of the time when they're coming up with these predictions, you can tell it will relate to the vast majority of people. Go on, what's my age? And it's not Annie's. Anne. Anne, Lady Anne. So what's my age, Annie? Cindy. Oh, PG. Do you know what? Can't you just, can someone explain me, right? What's that got to do with what we're talking about? No, I'm not 59. So there you got that wrong. PG tips it. What is Jim talking about? Hey, if I was 107, I mean, I'd lived a good clean life. Good clean life. What's that, Kelsey? Your daughter? She said my daughter was an old soul. A 14-year-old stood there with Elvis Presley back on her shoulder and 1950s scares her. Fine. Do you know what? This is nothing that gets me. You know when people go on that they can remember the praise lives, and I seem to be indicating that when I was a very small child before the age of 5, I must have been 4 or something, had like this vision thing. That's why I believe in reincarnation. But actually, if you believe the Buddha, you don't remember any life until you're enlightened. It's only once you get to the point of enlightenment that you're allowed to remember your previous life. Called if Eves, right? You don't know, do you? We don't know. Yeah, Jim, that's closer to it. Yes, that's much closer to my age. Yes, that's much closer to my age. Just reading the chat when anyone's wondering why I'm going quiet. Jim, you're not getting a spanner because I know what you're like. You'll be blocking everyone and timing them out. Can't have people timing out and being blocked on my channel. It will get me a bad reputation. People say, oh, on hands you get blocked and timed out. That's bad. I just asked something then, didn't I? What's just happened? No, I'm not in my 50s. I'm nowhere near my 50s. Now, 21, that's going a bit silly, isn't it, Billy? I don't know what you're after, but, I have to see photographs of your face before I agree. I know. Is he, Gandalf? Is that true? Is he in this city? I'll have to go and pay him a visit. Really? Is that true? You're supposed to with that weird fella he hangs out with, what I don't know, just know what his name is. I've forgotten his name. Oh God, fancy being a doormat like that. How embarrassing. You'd have some self-respect, wouldn't you? How embarrassing. Whatever that friend of his is called. Julie's, I keep on getting asked this, right? It's done something. I remember that name, Hoggy, and it was something pretty nasty he would say. People keep on saying, knock me and block me. I wouldn't have blocked them for nothing. I only block people when they come out with hate speech. So I don't know what's going on. I'd have to be able to find. Josh, that's it. Josh. Oh, I know they want to spanner off me. They'll have to, this is it, Jockney. They'll have to send me pictures of themselves, because that's what Julie's. Didn't you, Julie's? Cindy, I want to know that I've got honourable, nice, clean, well washed, scrubbed up people. So I insist on nudie pictures of them. Julie's and Cindy sent me nudie pictures to show that they were clean and well washed, and no bodily hair where bodily hair shouldn't be. So when Jim and Billy send me those photos, I'll give them a spanner. Jeez. What's that? What's that? Oh, God. Nudies. Nudie pictures. Do you like that photo from me? That's from a few years back there. God, that took ages to do and ages to take off again. I was trying to do, like a Van Gogh Starry Night. And that was about, to get those colours to go like that, it took mixing this, mixing that, mixing the other. It took absolutely ages. Then getting it off was a nightmare. How many people could have won the lottery? Do these puppies, do you mean a puppies as in woof woof or a puppies as in jigglies? Oh, gosh, because you won't see me. Little stray cat, big fat thing. I'm feeding it too much. It's a little head and a big slug of a body. But he keeps on pestering me for food. Sitting here and that kicked out, not conked out. Spaniels, he is. Right here. Oh, the black alien, yeah. Strange. I mean, that I don't know about anyone else. I think that's a mental illness issue when people do that. Do you remember that fellow that tried to turn himself into a cat? See, this is the problem with modern society. I've said this years ago. If you followed a trend or a fashion, it was either a haircut, your hair colour, or you might have a couple of piercings, but there wasn't this stretching your earlobes like they do now. And when you got bored with it or the fashions change, you could just grow your hair out, get a different hairstyle. You could take your piercings out. Simple. Now with surgery, it's not that simple on doing it. And people are starting to look horrendous. I saw one woman. I mean, I'm no good looker, but I'm naturally not good looking, so it's normal. But I saw a woman the other day in shopping centre, and she had tattoos sort of under her chin, all up her neck, up her chin, but she had those horrendous duck lips, and you could tell she'd had all sorts into her face. But she was about, she must have been pushing 50, and I thought, that is so ugly. And she doesn't even realise, and she's spent money. This is another thing, this is what I say about tattoos as well. Tattoos are all right when you're young, but tattoos are fashionable, and certain styles come in and out of fashion. You might as well stamp your date of birth on your forehead, because people will know by what tattoos you've got, what time period you got them done in. And when you get old, it looks stupid. An 80-year-old with all stupid tattoos up the neck and face. To me, it's now it's gone too far. Where in the past, you just literally got I say you could change your fashion. Now it's surgery. It's not that easy. It's like another thing. What happens? Well, this is another thing which happens, which I've always thought is that one generation doesn't want to look like the previous one. So you got the big boobs and the big backsides and all that. One generation, the next generation won't want that. They'll want the small boobs and the small backside. Because you don't want to look like your bleeding parents, do you? Or your grandparents. So that again, that dates you as well. Because you'll have the old-fashioned style. Well, Kelsey, I haven't got any tattoos. I've never had tattoos. Some tattoos look all right, but now, when they're doing the whole body, it's like, what are you doing? Because you're dating yourself. There's going to be a time when having tattoos is going to go out of fashion. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like these big earplugs, that's going to go out of fashion. And you'll just look so old and dated. Old and dated. It's like walking around. Can you imagine now walking to that horrendous 1980s costume jewelry? Can you imagine walking around with that now, or with an Afghan coat on? You'd look stupid, or you'd look very old. You'd look really out of place nowadays. Well, if you're getting that done to your bleeding face and your body, you can't just take it off and change it, can you? Well, people want to get tattoos, that's up to them, but I'd say to them, just be wary. You're going, and imagine at the neck, you can cover up tattoos on your body, I suppose. But on your neck, and how do you remove them? I'd imagine it would be extremely painful and dangerous to get tattoos removed from your neck and face. And there's also employment as well, because this is what happened in Merseyside Police. Bento Canal was going absolutely berserk. Suddenly police officers they were showing tattoos on the neck and on the hands, on their arms. And he said, no more tattoos. And he said, if anyone has tattoos on the hands, he said, I'm going to start introducing white gloves. You're going to wear full length shirt sleeves, whether it's hot or not. You're going to be forced to wear short shirt sleeves. And if you've got them on your neck, you're going to wear a tie no matter what. Because you used to be allowed in summer not to wear all that, the tie and all that, with the collar buttoned up. But he was going mad. I've got a tattoo with my name and address. Yeah, it's on the face. That's going to affect a lot of employers. Don't like that. Now, it's up to the person, as I say, and a tattoo doesn't impinge on your intelligence. I can assure you. I'd rather have someone that I could trust and do a job with a tattoo all over the face than someone who was prim and proper, who was absolutely rubbish and you couldn't trust. And this is what used to happen in the police. And I used to say, yeah, I can understand you had to be neat. Yeah, they were obsessed with neatness and cleanness and all that. You had to be presentable. But as I used to say, a lot of them are, and a lot of them you couldn't trust as far as you could throw them. But the women used to be like, it wasn't fair really. I don't know when to change. The women could have these weird hairdos, really strange hairdos. And yet the men couldn't. It's like you could get in trouble, or the men could get in trouble for growing a beard if they didn't already have one. They had to ask permission. And I used to think, I'm sure that's, let's put it this way, it was rare that I only ever heard someone being pulled once for it by an arsehole. He was an absolute arsehole. He used to be in the army. I remember him coming into the room, and because this young officer was starting to grow a beard, have you asked permission to grow that beard? And so I said to him, I didn't give a toss. by this point, I couldn't stand any of these supervising officers. So I turned around and said, you're calling him. I said, what about that bleeding grey fanny you've got growing on your face? Which he did. Had a grey bleeding fanny on his face. So the look he gave me, but at that point I didn't care. I knew I was going to be out the door sooner or later, so I didn't give him down. Oh, the tattooed eyebrows. Well, that fades, doesn't it? Just Cindy, Judy's ladies there, Kelsey. Don't these tattooed makeup, it fades, doesn't it, over time? It doesn't stay on. It's not permanent, is it? It lasts a few months. I've known a few women to get that, but they say no, say it fades over time. Are you sure? Yeah, Julie, thanks for that fades. I suppose it's easier, isn't it? Because the pain in the backside. I remember when I was all into this putting the makeup on, and if it takes the pain out of it. I got this thing the other day. They look really good, and you put them on your nose, and it gets your eyebrows perfect. You can draw your eyebrows on perfectly. Well, fake nails, this is it. I've used the stick-on ones, but I don't even like wearing rings. I'll only wear rings now and again when I'm going out somewhere. I don't like having jewellery all on me. I wear jewellery, but I don't like wearing it all the time. Because start playing with this little thing, start fiddling with jewellery, and then it breaks. The thing, the wire in it breaks because I'm bleeding fiddling with it all the time. Jockney, I can remember mods. Oh yeah, mods and rockets, they were always fighting with the mods and the punks. Didn't like the punks either, did they? Just reading the chat. Well, no, it used to shock me because when you'd see nurses with long nails, I thought that was a no-no. When I was studying, reflexology and massage, we had to cut our nails. You couldn't have big nails. Not that I do. I mean, I never grow my nails. I say if I'm going to put on nails, it's going to be false ones. But yeah, always had to for good reason. You don't want to be sticking your nails in someone, do you? When you're doing, but nurses, I could never understand this. They used to, if they had a wedding ring or something, they put tape around it, wouldn't they, to stop to keep it clean. But you'd see them with big nails, painted nails, and I'd think, oh, sure, is that hygienic doing that? See, when years ago, big nails, you know how that became fashionable? Having long nails. I mean, it was really, oh, there's a cat. Oh, I haven't seen that cat for ages, little black and white cat. Oh, you want to see Koshka? He's got his oh, it's funny. He's just going to sleep, but his head's not touching the floor. It's just like hovering above the floor. I've forgotten what I was saying. What was I saying about something about nails? I've forgotten now. Oh yeah, why they came back? It was really a Chinese thing, wasn't it? Huge nails, and it was just literally to show that they didn't have to do manual work. That's the only reason they had them long. And that bind in the feet. Oh, good God! Thank God that was banned. The torture some Chinese women went through with that from childhood. But yeah, that's why long nails were fashionable, because they wanted to show that they didn't have to do manual work. They had servants. Yeah, TD, that's what I mean. That's why when I saw nurses with big long painted nails, I thought, I'm sure they're not supposed to have them. Oh, how have we got onto that? Elongated skulls. Oh yeah, that's what the Egyptians know then, didn't they? And the Africans used to bind the children's heads so you'd get that strange, like, alien look to them, pointy heads. So you're eating strawberries as you go. I've got wild strawberries. I'm going to have to get some. They're only tiny little things, tiny little wild strawberries. They don't actually taste of any. Oh, and I think I've mentioned this before, I've got a Venus apple tree, miniature Venus apple tree. And started this, I've had it for years, and I mean years. And it cost me about 75 quid when I first bought it. It's a rare apple. And what it is, when you cut it, if I ever get one that I can bleed, that's totally right, which I've never had yet. When you cut them, they're red all the way through. And it's supposed to taste like a mixture between an apple and a strawberry. But I've never had one that you could eat, because they drop off before they mature. So it's just a very expensive bleeding twig that gets flowers on it, then small apples, and you can never eat the apples. How come there's so many fake PPs? He's popular PP, isn't he? He must be if people are copying. Oh, the strawberries, the Snow White ones, they're supposed to taste like pineapples, aren't they? The white strawberries. Yeah, it's supposed to taste like a pineapple now. Can't prune it back, apparently, because you know it's one of those miniature ones. You can tell it's like rose. You have to be careful when you prune them back, because they're grafted, aren't they, onto something else. So if you cut them back, the bleeding plants will come. And my fig tree, which I thought had killed a few years back, this is an explanation to you. An explanation. This is a lesson to learn for you. I had a lovely fig tree, standard fig tree, beautiful figs, gorgeous every year. And I had to move because it was in the wrong place. It was getting too big. Actually, when I think I should have left it where it was. But I moved and I thought, oh God, I've killed it for about 3 years, nothing. But it was just looked like it was dying. So I thought, I'll just leave it there. Don't know whether it was laziness or just thought, oh my God, the money I spent on that, I'm not going to throw it out. It's growing back. Its head's come back, and I'm getting fruit again now. They've got little figs ready. But oh, the figs are gorgeous. The figs are absolutely fresh. Figs are delicious. They're like nothing out of the shop. And the big brown turkey figs, delicious. And I had as well, which was a shame, a mozzarella cherry tree, which grew lovely, beautiful it was. And used to be full of cherries. You couldn't eat the cherries; they were disgusting, bitter. They were horrendous, and I couldn't work out why they were bitter. And you used to think, why aren't they sweet like the ones you buy? Because those mozzarella cherries, when they're ripe, are beautiful. And someone told me, said, if you got clay soil, I said, if I got clay soil, I said, it's bleeding, it's solid clay when you dig down. I said, that's what it is. They said, if you put them in clay, they go bitter. So it was good about that because she used to get absolutely gorgeous cherries. Or should do, but you couldn't eat them because they were bitter. Is that for the strawberries, Kelsey? I've never actually grown I've got the wild ones, but I've never actually grown them. But I love mozzarella cherries. Oh, they're gorgeous, but they are expensive. Oh, and I've got it. Only planted it this year. Crabapple tree I've put out there. Yeah, crabapple tree. So in a few years' time, should be getting nice little crabapple jelly and jam. Just reading the chats. So anyway, people have been on for an hour. So what I'll do is I'll be back not tomorrow, but the day after. So it will be Monday, same time. Another lovely little quiz, and I'll have to get someone to come on and have a chat. One here will have to come on and have a little chatty woos with me. We can talk all exciting things, and we can ask Kelsey when the strawberries are ready to do a taste on a live. So she can tell us what her strawberries taste like. So anyway, my lovelies, take care. Lovely to talk to you all again. And thank you to my lovely moderators, Kelsey, Julie's, Cindy. Thank you, my beautiful, beautiful little lovelies. So until Monday, take care, my lovelies. Bye bye for now.